Hello everyone, welcome back to Math with Allison. Today we're working on our sequences and series. So specifically we're going to be talking about the limit of a sequence. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's take a look at these two different sequences. So first we have a sub n, which is equal to 1, 2, 4, 8, so on and so forth. So notice what we're doing right here is we're always going to be multiplying by 2. Now our b sub n is equal to 1, 1/2, 1/4, 1/8. And so what's happening right here, we're always going to be dividing by 2, right? So the idea of the limit of a sequence is what you think the sequence is going to approach. So if we look at our first sequence, a sub n, notice that it's getting bigger and bigger. So let's go to talk about that. A sub n is being multiplied by 2 each time and will only get larger. So here we say the limit as n approaches infinity of our sequence is going to be infinity. So in this case, a sub n diverges to infinity. It means there's never a number that it's going to approach. It's only forever going to be getting bigger and bigger. Now that's going to be different from b sub n, right? We have that b sub n is being divided by 2 each time and is only getting smaller and smaller. So we can find an explicit formula for it, right? I wrote it as 1 over 2 to the power of n for n is equal to 0, 1, 2, and 3. And we can go ahead and take the limit of that to see what's happening. You could also just use logic. You can see that this is like 1 over 32 is getting really, really close to 0. But also if we took the limit of b sub n, we'd get 1 over 2 to the power of n, and as n gets really, really big, 1 divided by a big number goes to 0. So here we have proof that the limit goes to 0. Since it goes to an actual number, we say that b sub n converges to 0. So let's go ahead and talk about those official definitions. We have if the terms of a sequence a sub n approach a unique number L, so in our previous case, it approached 0, and 0 is a unique number. So here we have the limit and as n approaches infinity of our sequence is equal to L. Then we say the limit of a sub n as n approaches infinity, it exists and the sequence converges to L. It goes to a number. Now, if the terms of the sequence do not approach a single number as n gets bigger and bigger, we say that the sequence has no limit and the sequence diverges. So in these two cases, we would say that a sub n has no limit. There's nothing to stop it, right? There's no number there that's going to be the barrier for it. It's just going to continue doubling. It's going to get bigger and bigger. So here, that's when we would say it diverges. So let's talk about the types of sequences that diverge. This is very general. This is not all of them, right? But there's some good examples in here. So this is our previous example. We have that the limit as n approaches infinity of our sequence is going to go to infinity. It's going to continue doubling and only get bigger and bigger. So let's see what that looks like on a graph. I'm going to say a sub 0 is going to be our starting value, which is 1. A sub 1 is going to be equal to 2. A sub 2 is equal to 4. A sub 3, then we go to 8. And then at 4, we go all the way to 16. So notice it's very much like our function that goes something like this. And that function is only going to increase. But for sequences, it's just going to be those little dots. But you can see the pattern of it. So we say that the limit as n approaches infinity of our sequence is equal to infinity. And we say that a sub n diverges to infinity. Another way that you could write that is instead of saying it equals infinity, the limit does not exist. Right? There's no number that's going to be the barrier. So here, let's see another example. We have now that all of these are negative values. So just by using logic, you can tell the limit is going to go down to negative infinity, right? But let's go ahead and graph those out to see what they look like. So first we have negative 1. Then we go down to negative 2, negative 4, negative 8, and then negative 16. So if you think about it like a function, it's going to be doing something like that. And as a sequence, it's going to be those little dots. So we say that the limit does not exist. And we also say that b sub n diverges, but this time it diverges to negative infinity, right? So it can diverge to positive infinity. It can diverge to negative infinity. Let's see another example. What if it was alternating in sign? So 1, negative 2, 4, negative 8. Notice that this is oscillating between positive and negative values. This sequence will diverge, right? Because it approaches both positive and negative infinity. So we would say that the limit as n approaches infinity of our sequence does not exist. And let's go ahead and graph those out. So first we have positive 1, then we go down to negative 2, then we go up to positive 4, negative 8, positive 16. So notice on either side we have something that's doing something like that and another one that's doing something like that. Of course, they're not functions, so they're just going to be the dots, but that's just to see the pattern. So another way that it can diverge is through oscillation. So now that we talked about types of sequences that diverge, let's talk about types of sequences that converge. So here we have the sequence that we had in our first example. The conjecture is that a sub n is going to converge to 0, and that's just me using logic. I'm not using anything fancy here. So if we wrote it as an explicit formula, we get 1 over 2 to the power of n. And when we take the limit as n approaches infinity, that's going to get really, really big in the denominator, and that's going to go to 0. So that would be more of an official proof. So here we say the limit exists, and a sub n converges, right, to 0. So let's go and see what that looks like graphed out. First, we start at 1, which is going to be all the way up here. We go down to 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, and 1/16. So if you think about it, just looking for the pattern, we can see that we're getting really, really close to the n-axis. And so that's why it's converging. Let's see another type. This one is just where it's a repeated sequence, 3, 3, 3, 3. We say that the limit is going to exist, and it's going to converge to 3. So the limit is equal to 3. So if you didn't like writing exist right here, you can say the limit exists, it is equal to 3. And let's go ahead and see what that looks like. It's actually just going to go ahead and be a straight line. It's like saying x is equal to 3, right? It's always going to be 3, therefore it has to converge to 3. Let's try another one. So here we have 1, negative 1/2, 1/4, negative 1/8. Notice that it's oscillating, but it can still converge even if it's oscillating. So the conjecture, just by using logic, is both those numbers, even though they're positive and negative, they're both getting very, very small. And on either side, they're getting closer and closer to 0. So my conjecture is that it converges to 0. If you wanted to use more of an official proof, you could write out the explicit formula. So here we have negative 1 to the power of n times 1 over 2 to the n. So if we take the actual limit, here we have that 2 to the n gets so big that the whole thing goes to 0, whether it's positive or negative. So here we would say that this equals 0, so our limit exists, right? And c sub n converges to 0. So let's see what this looks like graphed out. So first we start off at 1, then we go down to negative 1/2, positive 1/4, negative 1/8, positive 1/16. So on either side of this, we're just getting super close to 0, so it converges to 0. But that's what it would look like as a sequence. So let's do some real problems. Here we have an explicit formula, negative 1 to the n over n squared plus 1. We're going to write out the first 4 terms of the sequence first so we can see a nice pattern. So let's do a sub 1. This is going to be negative 1 divided by 1 plus 1, which is going to be negative 1/2. A sub 2, I'm going to plug in 2 everywhere I see an n. That's going to be 1/5. A sub 3, that's going to be a negative 1. And then 9 plus 1, that's going to be negative 1/10. A sub 4, that's going to make it a positive 1 in the numerator. 16 plus 1, that's going to be 1 over 17. So if you wanted to write it out as an actual sequence, we have negative 1/2, 1/5, 1 negative 1/10, and then 1/17, so on and so forth. So now that we have those written out, we're going to talk about part 2, which is, does the sequence converge or diverge? And you need to explain your answer. So first, make a conjecture. Use some logic, look at the sequence, and see what you think it's approaching. I think this sequence, and I guess I didn't name it, so I'm just going to say this sequence. I'm going to say this converges to 0, because notice how it gets really little. Even though it's oscillating, they're both getting very small, positive and negative wise. So let's go ahead and actually prove this. We can take the limit as n approaches infinity of our sequence, negative 1 to n squared plus 1. If you wanted to be really specific, you could even use the squeeze theorem, which is everyone's favorite. So since this is oscillating between positive and negative, we have that the negative 1 is always going to be less than or equal to negative 1 to the n, which is our actual secant, which is always less than or equal to the positive version. Now let's take the limit as n approaches infinity of all 3 of these. First, we're going to do the left limit, negative 1 divided by n squared plus 1. When n gets really big, the denominator gets big, that whole thing's going to go to 0, even though it's negative. So that with our actual sequence. And then on the right, n is going to infinity. 1 divided by infinity is going to go to 0. So we have that this is bounded between 0 and 0, which means our limit actually has to equal 0. And so there's more proof that our sequence converges to 0. Of course, it depends on how your teacher's asking it. So if they wanted you to show proof, you could do the limit. If they just wanted you to explain, you could say it's getting really small. It converges to 0. Here we have a recurrence relation given to us. So we have a n plus 1 equals negative 2 a sub n. And we have our first term is going to be equal to 1. And we're going to write out the first 4 terms of the sequence. So they already gave us a sub 1. So then a sub 2 is going to be equal to negative 2 times a sub 1, which is equal to 1. A sub 3 is going to be equal to negative 2 times our previous term, which is going to be equal to 4. A sub 3 is negative 2 times our previous term, which is negative 8. So if I wrote this out as a sequence, we have 1, negative 2, 4, negative 8. So again, we're going to make a conjecture. What do you think is happening? Will it converge or diverge? I think a sub n will diverge because whether it's positive or negative, that number in magnitude is getting really, really big. So in magnitude, a sub n is continually doubling in size and will grow infinite. Another way you could talk about it is that it's approaching both positive and negative infinity. And there's multiple other ways that you can do it, of course, but it's going to be like how it's asked of you. So yeah. We're going to try one more here. We have an explicit formula. So a sub n is equal to 4n cubed divided by n cubed plus 1. We're going to enumerate and graph the terms of a sub n. So that's another way that the question can be asked. Enumerate just means write out some of the terms. So we're starting at 1, and usually the first 4 or 5 terms are pretty good to show you what's going on. So we get 4 times 1 cubed, 1 plus 1, that's going to be 4 divided by 2, which is equal to 2. A sub 2 is going to be 4 times 2 cubed, which actually I'm just going to rewrite that as 8. 4 times 8 divided by 2 cubed plus 1, that's going to be equal to 32 divided by 9. A sub 3 is going to be equal to, that's going to be 4 times 27 over 27 plus 1, which that is, oh, math. You know, it's never a bad thing to whip out the old-fashioned. That's going to be 108 divided by 28. A sub 4 is going to be equal to, oh gosh, okay, 4 times 64 divided by 64 plus 1, that is, I know that one, 256 divided by 65. So I converted those all to decimals. We got 3.5 repeating, 3.857, 3.938. So notice what those are getting really close to. Let's go ahead and graph those out. So our first term is equal to 2. Our second term goes to 3.5. Then we just get really, really close to 4, right? So if I just look at the pattern, I can see something like this. And let's go ahead and make a conjecture on what it approaches. I believe a sub n is going to converge to 4. And of course, we're going to do the math to prove it. We already have the explicit formula, so we can take the limit as n approaches infinity. N cubed, 4n cubed, over n cubed plus 1. So when we're working with limits at infinity, it doesn't matter if we add 1 to infinity, right? It's not going to make a difference. So I can rewrite that as this. So here, those n cubed cancel out, and what we're left with is 4. And the limit of 4 is just going to be equal to 4. And so here we have proof that this converges to 4. So that's all I have for us in this video today. If you enjoyed it, I have many more like it, so make sure to check out my playlist. They're linked down below. Otherwise, please give this video a thumbs up and comment other problems or topics you'd like to see done. Thanks for watching.